Hello Kabayan, I'm Myla Torres Eder. Let's connect dito sa Kabayan Connect. Samahan niyo po kaming magkwentuhan tungkol sa mga isyu at impormasyong mapapakinabangan ng ating mga kababayan abroad at ng mga nais mag-abroad. Pero bago po ang lahat, good evening mula rito sa Pilipinas at magandang araw kung nasan man kayong bahagi ng mundo. At ngayong araw nga po ay makakasama natin ang isa nating kababayan na napaka-inspiring ng kanyang kwento. Isa po siyang successful na digital marketing expert at matapos nga niyang mag-migrate sa Amerika ay nakapagtayo po siya ng sarili niyang negosyo na nakakatulong sa iba pang business owners sa Amerika at syempre nakakapagbigay rin ng trabaho. So let's all welcome Mr. McBilly Sy. Hi McBilly!
Hi guys! Good evening sa ating mga kabayan dyan sa Pilipinas and good morning for people here in the States.
Hi sa'yo, salamat at napagbigyan mo kami kahit very early pa 'no, sabi mo kanina ano 8 o'clock pa, 8 o'clock
Yeah,
na umaga diyan sa'yo,
okay
oo.
lang. Yeah,
Ayan,
thank
bago ang
you.
lahat, how are you ngayong nasa gitna pa rin tayo ng pandemic?
Okay naman dito. Thankfully, I'm very grateful na mm, mm, like I know there's a lot of people that got affected pero so far okay naman yung ako, okay naman yung family ko. So far it's been really good. And fully vaccinated naman na kami. Actually, maganda rin yung vaccination dito sa US and yung mga family ko
Mm.
rin diyan sa Philippines, fully vaccinated naman na. So, okay na rin.
Ayan, that's good to hear. Eto, baka foreign sa mga iba nating, manonood na yung, digital marketing, yung field mo 'no. So,
Mm.
can you talk about, digital marketing tungkol saan ba ito at ano yung talagang trabaho mo?
Sure. So, kasi marketing, obviously, as we know, marketing, that's really one of the lifeblood of like any business, right? Kung magbe-business tayo, kailangan naman talaga natin, at the end of the day, is what we need is customers. So, yung digital marketing is really, if you look at the definition of digital marketing, it's really advertising using digital channels like social media, search engine, yung mga online advertising, SEO, mga ganyan. Pero at the end of the day, yung ginagawa namin is we have a digital marketing agency, right? And really, it's really a marketing agency plus consulting eh. Kasi it's not just on the advertising side. Kailangan mo rin meron kaming software that we help our clients. And part of it is marami kami mga trainings involved kasi hindi naman lahat techie, no? So part of it is being able to, we kind of have, parang yung program namin is called the 3 A's kasi triple A formula yan. So attraction, automation, and amplification is our whole process. So what that means is, we're attracting, kumbaga nag-a-attract tayo whether sa Facebook, sa Instagram, sa Google, nag-a-attract tayo ng mga customers, right? And then, ang ginagawa namin is meron kaming system that automatically follows up with them, right? So whether it's kailangan mo mag-book ng appointment, kailangan mo mag-sales presentation, i-automate namin through emails, through texting, through voicemails, through calling. And then, para pag nag-connect ka na, then you could go through like a sales process. And then once you close them into a like an actual customer, meron tayong parang amplification process na how to grow from, how do you get more reviews, how to get more referrals, how do you increase the lifetime value of the customer. So that's kind of like a general thing. And we could even dive deeper into that if you guys want to.
Ayan, oo. Ang alam ko kasi, hindi 'yan talaga yung field mo, before na mapunta ka sa Amerika 'no. So,
Mm.
balikan natin yung buhay mo dito sa Pilipinas. Para sa mga hindi pa nakakakilala sa'yo, ano ba yung what was it like, before nung you were, you went to America ano pa lang, 2010, right?
2010,
So,
2010. Oo.
before that, ano ba yung mga pinagkakaabalahan mo dito sa Pilipinas no'n?
Sure. So actually, I've been kind of jumping around different fields actually in different industries. And normal naman to, no? I think that's honestly partly why I really had a lot of like different backgrounds. So I'll kind of take you guys back. Back in high school, I've always wanted to be in business na rin talaga. Kasi I grew up in a very sales environment, and I really believe that one of the biggest skills that you can learn is sales, no? Kasi in anything, whether you're not an actual salesperson, anything in life, it's all about sales, right? Even like if you're talking to even like your husband or wife, even asawa mo or your kids, right? You need to sell an idea, you need to sell a habit, or you need to sell whatever it is. It's all about selling. It's very important to understand that. And grateful naman ako. Yung mom ko kasi, we have a life insurance agency in the Philippines. So my mom actually started as a life insurance agent, and so I grew up in this sales environment, film life actually. And so, as a kid, I've always wanted, I want to get into business. I want to be an entrepreneur, right? And like right now, it's almost kind of this buzzword that like we all want to be entrepreneur, which is, I think it's a really good to aspire for. Now, I remember back in high school when I was going to college, gusto ko nang sinasabi ko na kay mama, "Ay ma, gusto kong mag-business administration." Kasi gusto ko na talaga mag-business. And then my mom went back to me. This is probably one of the most important things that she has helped me with. Is she told me, Billy, I support you. I support you to go into business. Pero instead of studying business administration, why don't you learn something technical and use that for business, right? Because if you guys think about it, in business, sa totoo lang, and this is just my experience, right? Now that I've gone through this whole journey of becoming an actual businessman and an entrepreneur, a lot in business, you can learn from trainings, from experiences, and actually books, right? And other people, mentorship. So you guys can see, I do read a lot of books. I invest in myself a lot. And so through that journey, talagang parang okay, make sense. Nag-aral ako ng IT actually. So I studied IT. I majored in web development. So I kind of get into that. Pero in school, in college, I used to do a lot of hosting. So, I'm very, public speaking, nagjo-join ako ng mga different clubs, right? And just so happens, this was in Cebu. I actually grew up in Bacolod. So, shout out sa mga Ilonggo sa Bacolod. And then I moved to Cebu for college. So, shout out man sa mga Cebuano. I could speak both languages, Ilonggo, Cebuano. And then in Cebu, in college, of course, I'm studying, right? IT pa yon. I'm very open-minded naman kasi like we don't know what kind of opportunities kind of lie in front of us. And so, I used to do hosting sa mga schools, ganyan. And then timing lang na there was one, it was an IT Olympiad actually. It was a school event, and they asked me to host the school event, and we held it in Cebu, Ayala, right? So Ayala, Cebu. And I hosted this event, and they hired mga celebrities from Manila. I actually forgot who the celebrities were at this point. But I hosted it, and so because may mga celebrities doon, they got may mga media doon, right? So ABS-CBN was there, ABS-CBN Cebu, and it just so happens na yung executive producer ng Mag TV na, which is a show in ABS-CBN Cebu, were there. Adrian was there, and so after that event, parang I did a good job. I was pretty nervous at that time. I did a pretty good job. He approached me and he was like, "Hey, Billy, we're trying to pull this new talent, right? They're trying to pull talents. Would I be willing to audition?" Ginagawa nila is they were at that time they were doing Star Magic Cebu. They're trying to recreate Star Magic in Manila to Cebu, and to me, I'm like, oh wow, okay, bagong opportunity to. And so I went for it. But if you guys think about it, Ren, diba? Like, like my background was computer, but it's like a completely different industry. But
Mhm,
I said yes to it, right? So,
mhm,
kumbaga, like we don't want to confine ourselves in like one thing because we never know, right? There's always
mhm,
opportunities out there. And so, nag-audition ako, and luckily for me, I started kind of guesting there. I got into the pool of talent. Pero yung two previous hosts of Mag TV at that time like left after maybe a couple of months. So, I'm very grateful to say na, I got chosen to be one of the faces of the show, with two of my co-hosts, Blinky and Phoebe. And so, yeah, from there, I got into, being a TV host
Mhm,
in ABS-CBN. So very different, very different experiences.
oo.
Um,
In your case 'no, sa story mo, there wasn't really a lack of opportunity unlike yung mga iba
mm,
nating kababayan probably 'no. Pero migrate ka to the US in 2010. Ano yung, deciding factor? Bakit, nag-decide ka na eto, okey naman ako dito sa Pilipinas pero lilipat ako sa Amerika. Ano ba 'to, is this, parang may hinahanap ka pang iba pang opportunities o ano ba 'yun? Ano ba yung naging
ah,
deciding factor dun?
so that's a good question, Myla. Kasi sa totoo lang, during at that time, of course, and keep in mind, I was young at this time, like 20 years old pa lang ako at this time. Right before I turned 21, actually. Yung parents ko kasi are separated. So I grew up with my mom sa Philippines. But yung dad ko is here sa California. And
Mhm,
so maybe I would say like baka 10 years old pa nga lang ako since I last saw my dad, when they separated. And so the reason why I actually came here first, I flew here sa US, is dahil parang kinontak ako ng dad ko, and then he kind of petitioned for me. And to me, it was really more of a decision to get to reconnect with my dad kasi wala akong
mhm,
connection with my dad. I didn't really know him. And so that was more of that decision. Pero initially, sabi mo nga 'no, parang medyo okay naman na ako dun sa Philippines.
mm,
Originally, wala talaga akong plan to move here. It was more of like, "Hey, I want to visit. I want to, reconnect with my dad."
mhm,
Pero when I got here, it was really more so, the opportunity rin na parang iniisip ko rin na, "Hey," like you said, "there's something bigger, right, that I could do."
mhm,
And, nasasayangan ako sa opportunity kasi pinitisyon ako ng papa ko. Alam naman natin maraming maraming naghahanap and naghihirap to even get the green card.
mm,
Ako parang, I'm very grateful na binigay sa'kin yung opportunity na yun. Bakit ko naman sasayangin, right? Pero truthfully guys, and I want to be very transparent, hindi yun madali, kasi when I first moved here, siyempre yung background ko computer, right?
right,
When I
mm,
decided to actually move here na sa States, actually medyo I kind of went into this phase of like medyo na-depress rin ako ng konti. Kasi siyempre it's like
mm,
culture shock, right? So, huge
right,
culture shock. Wala akong mga friends dito, wala akong kilala dito.
mhm,
Wala naman akong, and actually yung I was never able to say goodbye kasi initial plan ko lang is pupunta ako dito tapos babalik ako ng Philippines. And I mean, I didn't have savings at that time. And so nag-try ako maghanap ng trabaho, pero yung experience ko naman dito, wala. Like, I was trying to apply for a IT job, wala naman ako experience. Yung experience ko is nasa
mm,
ABS-CBN. So, I really jumped around different, like jobs. Yung first job ko nga dito is I worked as a cashier at Lowe's, which is like a Home Depot na store. And mostly like I would push the carts in like the parking lot, right? Which I mean, honestly, like I was also proud of that. Like kailangan mo talagang, like, I was just like trying to figure things out. Like doing what was in front of me.
mhm. Right. So, pagdating mo diyan sa diyan sa Amerika, you were
Mm,
jumping from job to job 'no? Pero, ano yung, bakit naisip mo na magtayo or magsarili ng sarili mong ano, ng agency mo?
mm.
Pero bago pala 'yan, paano mo nahanap yung field na yun?
Mm.
Paano ka napunta dun?
So, a great question. And it's the same, actually, it's the same answer na parang, it's like jumping through like different industries, no? Originally kasi, siyempre, when I first went here, because of this identity in my mind na I'm a, like IT, I wanted to get into that work. And when I was working at Lowe's, dun ko nahanap yung next ko na opportunity was because I was working in the cashier and it was kind of slow. Nasa garden ako, nasa outside pa nga ako nito. And may isang customer na nagsha-shopping and then nakapag-chika-chika kami and she happens to be Cebuana. So yun, nagchika-chika kami, oh, kamusta na? When have you went here? Ganito, kailan ka ba nag-ano dito? Kailan ka ba nag-move dito? And so, nagkakwento-kwentuhan kami. Sabi ko, naghahanap ako ng opportunity for like IT. Tapos, graduate ako ng magna cum laude. So, parang sabi niya, ay, talaga? It so happens that she is the HR manager for the clinical laboratory that I also worked at, that I eventually worked
Hmm.
at. So, na-timing lang, sabi niya, ay, actually, we're just opening up a new department, na digital pathology. Why don't I apply? So, yun, nagtatrabaho pa nga ako nun. Sinulat ko lang yung email niya sa likod ng resibo. Kasi, siyempre, nag-work pa ako nun. So, sinulat ko to. Tapos yun, nag-send ako ng email. I went through the whole
Mm.
interview. And then, thankfully, I got in. And so, I actually spent almost 6 years in the medtech field. Medtech, clinical
Oh,
field. And it wasn't necessarily, nga, parang ang layo, di ba? Parang
tama,
from
oo.
from computer
Right, oo.
to like, TV and then now medtech. And so like to me, parang I was just looking for like, hey, what's the next opportunity that I could get, right? Pero I would say looking back, Myla, kasi there was a point, maybe 2-3 years into like being a medtech, I really truthfully didn't enjoy it. Pero I also understood na of course delayed gratification, right? Lahat naman ng ginagawa natin, we know that like if we invest in ourselves, right? One of the biggest things that actually I'll share this, no. See, one of my mentors, Dan Kennedy, he's actually a brilliant marketer. He actually invented and coined the phrase lead generation. As a side note, he talks about in life, we all want, there's three things that we all want, right? So it's wealth, security, and freedom, right? So wealth, security, and freedom. This every single one wants this. However, all three of these things can be taken away from you. Okay. So, kahit na yumaman ka, pwede namang mawala yun, di ba?
Mhm,
Kung gusto mo ng security, actually, pwedeng mawala rin yun. Pwedeng pasukan yung bahay mo, whatever it is, right? Freedom. If you go to different countries, there's countries that don't have freedom, right?
mhm,
And so there's only one thing that no one else can take away from you, and that is yourself, right? So it's your knowledge, it's your skills, it's your personality, right? So you want to invest in yourself first, right? And so during this time, of course, nasa medtech. So when I was in medtech, within mga 2-3 years nga, parang na-imagine ko na parang, I don't really enjoy this. I want something to build for my own, right? I wanted to, I've always wanted to get into business. I want to create something of my own. Pero, I was talking to one of my family members and I'm like, so should I do this? Should I not do this? And yung advice niya sa akin is like, Billy, mahirap mag-business. Huwag ka munang mag-quit ng job mo until na okay na yung side business mo. Okay?
mhm,
Mag-ipon ka muna. Okay? So yun yung advice niya sa akin. Now in hindsight, I followed it. I spent another 4-5 years in the medtech field, even though I don't enjoy it. And actually, nagdo-double job pa ako dun, by the way. So
mhm,
I was working as a medtech in a clinical lab, and then so yung shift ko nun, 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Okay? I was working in a clinical lab, and then I would drive from that to the hospital in 30 minutes from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. And I would, basically go home, sleep for maybe 4 hours, and then go back again. Okay. During this time, like, honestly, during that time, there was like one night na winter time kasi New York po ito. So New
Mm.
York winter time, malamig, there's like snow, and I was driving late at night from one job to the other. So, 11:45, 12 midnight, right? And then one time, I think I hit like a black ice, sobrang antok na rin ako,
Mm.
and I almost hit the car in front of me, actually. And at that time, that was a time that I realized, like, what the hell am I doing with my life, right? Like, I'm not happy. I'm not pursuing something that I really want. And parang dun ko lang na-realize na, like, I got fed up. And so I'm like, screw this, like, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna put in my resignation, and I'm actually gonna pursue something that I want, right?
Mhm.
Not doing something, not working for another person, right? And so at that time, dun ko na realize na, although tama naman yung, like, like, you guys probably have family members or friends that tell you, "Hey, wag mo gawin 'to. Mahirap 'yan," right? Pero sa
Mhm.
totoo lang, and this is one of most powerful words that I could show you guys, or share with you, that has shared with me by Tony Robbins, is that whatever whatever you think, whatever it is that you think that you can't do in life, the only reason that you can't achieve that thing in life is because of the story that you tell yourself why you can't achieve it, right? Because there's this story in our head there, and that's basically kind of what happened with me. And if there's only I try not to get to have any regrets in life, but if there's one regret that I would say it's me waiting 6 years, spending time in that field when I felt like I should have already pursued something that I've wanted, right?
Mhm. Mm.
And when I say that, of course, naiintindihan ko naman yung iba, it's never too late rin, guys. Kasi we know naman there's a lot of people that became successful rin towards later in life. I think that's a very, very, it just kind of depends, because when you say failure, right? When you say
Mhm.
failure, you only fail when you stop, right? When you stop right
Mhm.
there. So if you move on, then it's just a learning experience, right?
Mhm. Mm.
So yeah.
So, you talked about, investing on yourself 'no.
Mm.
So, sa experience mo, ano yung biggest investment mo sa sarili mo na, which gave you opportunities after?
A great question. So, in terms of investing in yourself, no, I would say, so. There's a couple of things. Um, if you are really trying to pursue something and you want to achieve something, right? The I would say, like, the first step is try to find someone who has actually done what you want to achieve in life, right? And then
Mhm.
try to reverse engineer what they've done, so that you kind of have like a roadmap na ano bang kailangan kong gawin, right? In
Hmm.
other words, you could find a mentor, right? That's one. And
Mm.
then second is, you want to surround yourself with people that are on the same mission as you. Okay, very, very important. Dahil it's gonna be there's gonna be days, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? There's gonna be
Mhm.
days na you're gonna be down, you're gonna be lazy, you don't want to do things. And it's good to have, sabi nga nila, accountability partner, no? But it's good to have like a group of people, and I surround myself with what's called like a mastermind. I'm part of like different masterminds, and masterminds is more of a term in the marketing world that says, hey, you are connecting with other like entrepreneurs, business owners that are high producers, that also have bigger standards than you, right? Kasi ito yung masasabi ko, especially for right now, yung mga kabayan natin na, if you are, employed, if you are where you are right now, right? there's this thing called, it's the standards. It's like our standards and perspective in life, right? I'll give you a really good example of this. During that time when I was working sa medtech, you know, a lot of my conversations, because I'm in that mindset of like, hey, ano pa ba yung pwede kong pag-aralan? Ano pa bang lisensya po pwede kong makuha?
Mhm.
Para ma-promote ako, right? I want to get promoted para yung salary ko ngayon na 50,000, gusto ko maging 60,000 per year, right? Paano ba to maging 90,000 per year, right? Paano ba to
Mhm.
maging 100,000 per year? So, during that time, parang I was, like that was my goal at that time because of the conversations and of what I have in my circle, right? But the easiest way to kind of hack your brain is you want to surround yourself with people that have bigger standards and higher standards than you, right? So before, yung pinag-uusapan namin is how do I earn, 100,000 per year. But
Mm.
now I'm surrounded by people that we're talking about how do I earn, 100,000 per month, right? So obviously, um like if you hear that first, like ano ba yan? Sobrang laki na yan. Pero sa totoo lang, that's the standard. Eh. Like if that's, and again, that's all up here, right? Sabi nga ni Tony Robbins, everything in life, if you want to grow your business, if you want to improve your life, 80% is psychology, and then 20%
Mhm.
is mechanics, right? It's everything is up here. And so in terms of investing yourself, no, in terms of actual like tactics, ang masasabi ko
Mm.
is there's obviously books, right? One of the biggest influences for myself is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
Mhm.
I actually read yung sa anak niya. This is back in high school. Seven Habits of Highly Effective Teens, which is by Sean Covey. Highly recommend that book. And then if you guys want to, Tony Robbins, I really highly recommend. Meron siya mga podcasts, may YouTube channel siya. You guys can follow him. And so a lot of this is, again, you want to find a mentor that you can actually follow, right? And I would say in terms of like on the business side, kasi marami namang business opportunities, I'm gonna tie it back to bakit nga ba parang digital marketing. To be
Mm.
honest, guys, right now we are in the like most luckiest and like parang the internet right now is the great equalizer nga sabi nila, 'di ba?
Mm.
Kasi before, kung kailangan mo, like if you want to start a business, siyempre kailangan mo ng malaking investment, right? Kailangan mo ng
Right.
kapital, kailangan mo gumawa ng factory, kailangan mo ng
Correct.
inventory. So
Mhm.
right now, because of the internet, as in you could literally start a business with very, very minimal capital, right? Kasi
Mm.
it's all like information, parang ganito, pwede na tayo mag-zoom na lang, right?
Oo.
So a lot of it is skill sets mo na lang yun. So again, knowledge, skills, and your personality. And a lot of those is, I would say, you want to focus first on something that you enjoy. Kasi, like, you want to focus, let's say, video editing, right? If that's something that you enjoy, well, that's something that you can actually start with, right?
Mhm.
Start ka muna dyan, and then unti-unti, right? Kasi lahat ng skills ko, hindi naman overnight yun eh, di ba? Pero commitment is the most important thing. And I would say you want to start with, begin with the end in mind, right? This is part of the seven habits is you want to have a clear vision first of what is it that you actually want in life and why you're wanting to do this. And sa totoo, like, and I could show this to you guys. Tanong mo, Myla, like how to develop the skills, how to develop that
Mhm.
knowledge.
Yes.
If you guys see, ito yung phone ko. I'm looking at this. So I'll show this to you. You could see that I have a daily habits na folder, no? So I have a daily
Mm.
habits folder, and a lot of this is really I created a vision board, right? You create a vision board of what is your ideal life, and then from there, you write down. I do daily affirmations, so I wake up early in the morning and then I do, I pray, I do my gratitude and affirmations. And yung affirmations, and actually there's an app that I would highly recommend. So if you look at this app, yung ano yung app ko dito is, first is I have an Aura app which tracks my sleep, right? Because part of this is we want
Mhm.
to take care of our body. We want to take care of, if we want to have, if we want to be efficient, we want to take care of our body, right? And our health.
Mhm.
And then the other thing here is called Think Up. Okay. Think Up, na to na Think Up. This is basically an affirmations app. Now you could record your voice into this, and you could listen to this every single day. And I do this like in the morning. So I'll give you guys a little kind of example here. Literally, ipi-play ko to, ah. My work makes a difference in this world. We are literally changing the mortgage, the professional services, and I'm really able to inspire people to pursue their life, to pursue their dream, and for them to think outside of the box, and make them see things that they've never seen before. Make them. So, example lang yan, no? So, of course,
Mm.
this is more of a personal thing.
Mm.
Nire-record ko yan, and then I listen to that every morning, and, I have a journal. Because, guys, eto, like, the single biggest thing that I would say is, like, everything is up here, right? And so, our mind is so powerful. Na, there's tests nga that they did, right? I don't know if you guys know this story, but essentially there's this story that, they did a test, and they basically recorded the brain waves, and they put like they tested like the muscles for like an athlete, right? And so what they did is nirecord nila yung mga nerves, yung mga muscles, yung brain waves, and then that person actually ran like an actual, like, talagang tumakbo talaga siya, a 100-meter sprint, right? And so they did that. They recorded everything. And then on the second test, they humiga lang siya sa bed. He's not moving, but he thought and visualized him running that same thing, right? And so when they look at that test, it's the same thing. The body does not know whether you're actually running in real life or you're running up here, visualizing it. It's you muscles, the same muscles move, the same nerves. So like our mind is so powerful that that's one of the key things na kailangan mo talagang super alagaan, and you want to invest in, right, on the knowledge part.
Right,
Hopefully
right.
that answered.
Ang daming wise words from McBilly. Pero ito, may nakita kami sa post mo. Ito, paano mo papaliwanag 'to sa mga siguro mga nahihirapan sa buhay 'no? Kasi, meron kang post na sinabi mo, "If you don't like your life, choose a better story." So, siguro para sa mga iba nating kababayan parang, baka sabihin nila, masasabi mo 'yan kasi you have a lot of opportunities, 'di ba? Pero para sa kanila, parang mahirap isipin kung paano nila gagawin 'yon. So,
Mm.
anong puwede mong advice sa kanila?
Sure. So I would say, and that's very normal, no? Like, you look at, like, if you're listening to me right now, like, parang madali ngang i-brush off ngayon na parang, ay, madali mo na nga lang sabihin yan. Kasi,
Mhm,
siyempre, you have a lot of these opportunities. Pero truthfully, guys, like, I didn't know, like, the opportunities I had, or I did not have the opportunities I had before starting this business. It was me actually finding it, right? And me being very intentional about it. So, when I say that, if you don't like your life, then change the story, because sa totoo lang, it's really up here. Eh. And it might sound, and depending on, I'm a very firm believer of like self improvement, and I really, really believe in those things. It might sound, parang, woo woo, hindi naman totoo yan, ganyan. Pero, when you start actually investing in taking care of your mind, kasi ito lang, here's a question for you guys. There is a, like, right now, pandemic, right? It's a very
mhm,
interesting thing, kasi if you ask different people, they have different perspectives on this, right? This is a good thing, this is a bad thing, right? Pero in all our life, right? In all lives, everything that is happening externally is all neutral, right? It's only good or bad if whatever you think and how you look at things is good or bad. I'll give you guys an example. This is actually a Chinese proverb na story na I forgot where I got this, but I learned this like when I was a little kid. But it's a story na farmer siya. So it's like a farmer with his wife, and they have a son. Okay, so they live in this farm, and basically, they have a may mga chicken, may mga cow sila, tapos
Mhm.
meron silang dog, right? And so one night, nawala yung dog. Okay, so yung asawa ngayon na in the morning hinahanap, "Ay, asan na yung dog natin? Nawala." Oh my God, malas talaga. Ano ba 'yan? Na-kidnap or nawala yung aso natin. Malas talaga. So sabi nung asawa, nung guy, sabi niya, "Well, honey, I don't know if swerte or malas. Malay mo baka swerte 'yun, nawala." Eh di nagalit yung
Mm.
asawa. Sabi niya, ano ka ba? Nawala na nga yung aso natin. Swerte ba 'yun? Malas
Mm.
talaga, right? And then after a couple days, bumalik yung aso, and the dog had horses with them, kasama mga kabayo. So
Mm.
dumating sila sa farm, edi yun nagkakabayo sila ngayon. Edi swerte pala. Oh my God. Sabi ay swerte pala ni may dinala yung aso natin ng mga kabayo. Okay, so after a couple days, so yung son naman, because they have horses now, was playing with the horse. And so, nahudog siya sa horse and napilayan, right? So, nung napilayan siya, oh my God, honey, malas talaga. Napila yung anak natin. So, sabi naman ng asawa, again, well, honey, I don't know kung malas or swerte ba yun. E di nagalit na naman yung asawa. Sabi niya, honey, ano ka ba? Naintindihan ko yung aso. Pero yung anak natin, napilayan na. Paano ba magiging swerte yun? Right? And then after a couple of days, dahil, this is in China, set in China, Chinese proverb to siya, the Chinese army came to their farm, and they were recruiting mga sons to join the army. Eh dahil yung son nila napilayan, eh di hindi siya na-recruit, na-save siya from joining the army. So like, oh, di ba? Eh di, actually, swerte
Mm.
pala. So parang, it's just like, it just depends on how you look at things. And there's things that are, it's kind of like that cliche. I know it's kind of a cliche na, hey, do you look at the glass half empty or half
Half.
full, right? Pero, what I would say is, sa mga kabayan natin na nanonood, and, of course, it's not, I know it's not easy. It's not easy. Pero, itong masasabi ko, ang sabihin ko is like, you need to get used to it actually not being easy. Kasi sa totoo lang, actually ito I'll give you a really good example of this. Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys know who Tony Robbins is. He's one of my biggest mentor. He is, for you guys who don't know who Tony Robbins is, he is the number one life business coach in the whole world. Okay. He has worked with, six presidents, three dead, three living. He's worked with like Oprah. He's worked with like Hugh Jackman. Lahat ng mga 50 CEOs of billion-dollar companies. He's been on the front cover of Time Magazine, Forbes, best-selling author, best-selling speaker, very motivational speaker. He's really worked with everyone that is super high level. Okay. So I want to start with that. And so I recently came back from an event from Tony Robbins, a live event. And on that event, there was 3,500 people in that place, with another 3,500 in Zoom. So about 7,000 people, right? So he posed this question to everyone there. He was like, he knows about 50 CEOs of billion-dollar companies, right? With a B. I can't even imagine how much that is in pesos, kasi dollars 'to yung pinag-usapan natin.
Mhm.
So, sabi niya, out of the 50 people that he knows, only 5 of them he knows personally are happy. Okay? So, CEOs of billion-dollar companies. Okay, 45 of them are unhappy with their life. They're anxious. They're going through the same problems that you're going through, right? That you and I are going through. Like, everyone has problems. And so it just kind of gives you perspective. Sabi ni Tony Robbins, he's done it all. He's worked with people that are, everyone in the ladder. Every single one is going through the same problems as you. Okay. And so he really talks about eto, think let me ask you guys this, because he asked this in the audience. Sabi niya, okay, think about the biggest achievement that you've ever had. Okay. Biggest achievement, something that whether it's like with work, whether it's with your family, with your life, anything, it is the biggest achievement, and you are so happy, like you're so fulfilled. Okay. So he asked this, so visualize niyo yan, remember that feeling, and then he asked the audience, all right, knowing that feeling right now, who here, so raise your hand, tinanong yung audience, did that feeling last for more than 6 months? Okay, that feeling na super happy ka lasted more than 6 months. And so no one raised their hands at the 6 months mark. So who here had that same feeling last for more than 6 weeks? Okay, so at this point, maybe a little, konting tao nagtaas ng kamay. Who here had that feeling last for more than 6 days? Okay, now a little bit more people, and then who here had that feeling last for more than 6 hours? Right, so most people raised their hands at this point. So if you think about it, one of your biggest achievement, whether it's marrying the love of your life, finding your ideal partner, achieving whatever it is that you're achieving, graduated, summa cum laude, right? That feeling is only going to last between 6 hours to maybe six days, right? About a week. And so what he's saying is that those achievements, anything like that feeling of happiness and joy and fulfillment is a fleeting feeling. Okay. That achievement is a fleeting feeling, meaning it's a temporary feeling. It's a temporary feeling, temporary thing in space and time. Right. However, the only thing, if you really want to be truly happy in life, right, the only thing that is consistent, happiness equals progress. Okay. So that just means that, we as human beings, we want to grow, right? We want to be better. And so part of it is like, if it's not achieving that goal necessarily is going to make you happy, but it's you going through that goal, going through that goal and then getting better every day, right? Like, if I'm going to the gym and I'm trying to lose, 30 pounds, well, every single day as I'm going to that gym, like I'm getting better, I'm getting better. And it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard work. Kasi kung nagda-diet ka, nag-go ka ng gym, matrabaho rin yun, ah. And well, in anything, like if you're going to build your business, if you are going to, pursue something new, like it's going to be hard work. And so you have to really get into that, right? You have to learn and understand that it's going to be hard work. However, the fact that it's hard is where you get the fulfillment, because once you accomplish it, then you can start saying to yourself, oh my God, I can actually do it, right? Like getting those
Mm.
small wins, that's where the momentum comes in, right? Pag may
Mhm.
momentum ka na kasi, yan, mahirap na ma-stop yan. Pag may momentum ka na, like mas mabilis na yan, right? Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Right, right, right. Grabe ang mga words of encouragement from McBilly. I'm sure na-appreciate yan, especially ng mga tao ngayon who are going through hard times because of the pandemic. And I wish we had more time, pero um, would you like to invite them? Baka gusto mong mag-invite sa iyong social media para sa mga na-inspire at gusto ko ka pang marinig yung mga posts mo, nakakatuwa din eh. So, invite them.
Sure, sure, sure. If you guys, want to hear more, connect with me. Like, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to connect. You could add me in Facebook or in Instagram. Excuse me, at McBilly lang naman. I'm sure you guys
Mhm.
can put it here in the post.
Ayan, at
Um,
McBilly.
Yep. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. I'm more active in Instagram. but I'm also in Facebook. And yeah, thank you for
Thank you
inviting me.
so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, McBilly, and I hope ma-invite ka namin, sa mga iba pang episodes ng Kabayan Connect. Baka
Sure.
para marami ka pang ma-inspire and, thank you so much at, good luck sa lahat ng mga endeavors mo diyan sa
Mhm.
US. More power to you and your businesses.
Sure, yeah. Maraming salamat, guys. And hopefully, you guys were able to at least, take things from there and be inspired. And yeah, like there's like where you are right now does not define who you are. And so there's you could whatever it is starts here, but you can absolutely do it, right?
Thank you. Thank you so
Sige.
much,
Thank you,
McBilly.
guys. Okay.
And before we go, we would like to thank our sponsor, Pinoy Luminaries, para po sa ating mga kababayan or sa mga OFW na nangangailangan ng tulong pinansyal. Pwede niyo pong bisitahin ang website ng Pinoy Luminaries, www.pinoyluminaries.com. At maraming salamat po sa mga nakipagkwentuhan sa amin ngayon. Follow us on our Facebook account dito po sa OFW Ako. At hanggang sa susunod po, I'm Myla Torres Eder. Let's connect dito sa Kabayan Connect.